Well, hello, everybody. I am Tanya Lee of Harmonia, and welcome to edition of All Signs Week Ahead. And this is going to be for June 22nd to the 28th. So let's get started here. Just a reminder, you're going to want to check your sun, moon, rising, and Venus. We always start off with the astrology news and the collective energy. It's important that you listen to that ahead of time because that will bleed into the rest of the readings when you go to each individual sign as well. All right, let's get started here with the astrology news. So this week, guys, well, I want to say first off, happy birthday out there to the Cancers because we are officially kicking off Cancer season. So this week marks our first full week under this Cancer energy, and this is also following the summer solstice. So after the busy pace of Gemini season, the focus now is shifting towards what feels meaningful, supportive, emotionally sustainable. So consider this. Cancer reminds us, guys, that life isn't just about what we're building. It's also about what we're protecting when it comes to our home, our family, our friends, our community, our emotional well-being, and personal fulfillment all come into focus right now. And the summer solstice, this is a great moment here for a lot of us to have a checkpoint in for this year because we're already midway in. Can you believe it? It's really how it is. But it's an opportunity to pause and to recognize what has grown, what is thriving, and what deserves our attention moving forward instead of constantly asking, what's next? Cancer season asks a little bit differently. In this Cancer energy, this water element, we are asking ourselves, what truly matters to me? What truly matters to me? Ooh, I like that. All right, let's see what archetype is here for us this week as well. We're going to roll the dice if you are new to the archetypes. That's something over at Harmonia Friends Community, where I have a whole guidebook along with an interactive way of basically using the dice as a divination tool to roll and see what archetype you are embodying to get more collective messages, go more into that deep self-development work and shadow work. All right, let's get to it. Let's call in our guides, our ancestors, and our ascendant masters. Spirit, if we can hone into the collective here, watching this replay. Who are we embodying this week? Well, she's come up quite a few times this year, but we have the matriarch again, and I love the matriarch. It's kind of got that beautiful empress mother energy, but she's also got supporting characters here are also the keeper, which is the number 4, and also the liberator, who's a number 5. So you may see this combination here this week, which is 4, 5, 9, or lots of 4s, lots of 5s, lots of 9s. And this is the embodiment here of these archetypes. But let's go back here to the main archetype, which is what you're embodying this week. You know, this is that responsibility energy. And this goes really nicely in hand with astrology news, where I said, this is also about what we're protecting. And who doesn't protect better than a mother, you know, protects their assets, protects the children, but also knows how to be very sincere and loving. And at the same time, can receive help, support. And there's just something in this energy here this week that something has come into fruition here for us. But that also may mean that you're ready for the next level. Because with the keeper here maintains, but something here is shaking up the foundation, a pattern that is ready to be torn apart. And how this is being torn apart is going to be different for each individual signs, but it is a part of the life cycle that you were meant to go across. Doesn't matter if it's a lower vibration or a higher vibration, you were meant to cross this threshold this week. All right. So that's what we got here. Who's embodying us? We're going to keep the matriarch right here in the corner so that she's going to be documented here throughout the readings. Let's see what angel signs we got with us this week. Lauren, how are the angels working with us this week. What the angels have to say. Fear. The angels remind us that fear distorts your actions, making you act from feelings of powerlessness and limitation. Recognize when you are acting from fear and consciously choose love instead. Love always wins. Truly, truly. But it is on the same spectrum. They are in the same line, fear and love. So where are you shifting most of your attention? And I love this because if you think of the mother energy coming up here, and I'll bring her back up here. She looks like she is protecting a child. The child feels safe. She's the one who's soothing, do not fear. And so there's a part of you that says, do not fear this. Do not fear this. But you also may have another individual here who's supporting you in this manner here as well. So something to consider. All right. Let's see how we're showing up. Remember, no reversals on initial story play. I got to move this down a little bit so we can see it. There we go. Spirit, how are we showing up here collectively? Time to gain a new perception. So we are purposely putting ourselves in this position. That's what the hangman is, the self-sacrificing card here, but it's also to examine what keeps us stuck. And there's something here where we're being illuminated. And I feel like this illumination is going towards this fear. All right. What is our challenge? Although we know the challenge here is fear, but what's the challenge here? What draws on our weaknesses here this week? Justice. Facing a consequence. Oh, now that's hard because everything needs to be balanced and aligned. And justice is here with Libra energy. So if this is the challenge this week with a fear, there may be a price or a dues to pay. And that can be different for each individual sign, but it's outside of our decision making. Now it's by the law, or at this case, universal law, paying the consequences. There's a karmic cycle here that is passing for us. What are our breakthroughs for the week? What are our breakthroughs for this week? Look at this. There's that support. The breakthrough here comes with the Two of Cups energy. I love this. It reminds me a lot of the matriarch again, how she was holding on to the little boy. You're not on this on your own. There are people around you that love you, that care for you, that could listen, could give you good advice. But, this is having a heart-to-heart discussion, making something fair, facing fear together. Oh, I like this. Facing fear together. All right. We're going to break down now into each individual sign. We always start with the birthday month. So happy birthday out there to my Cancers. We're going to move on to you guys first. Just going to switch on over and make sure I write this down because I'll forget the timestamp already. All right, reversals are now up. Cancer, how are you feeling going into this week? Unlucky. You almost feel like you're stuck. You feel like you're going backwards. You feel like you're paying some, almost feel a little cursed this week. Things aren't going in the way that you want them to, not for this Cancer. I know it's hard to hear, but this is not how you want it to go down. You feel a little unlucky this week. All right, external reasons why. All right, so you're going through some losses. Some of you, it could be financial. It could be an unexpected bill. Could be, not being able to do what you had planned this week. This tells me this has to do with a priority. Loss could be something like you get ill, get sick, but it's like, man, I have the worst luck in the world. Like that's what it feels like Cancer saying. But here's the integration of it. Because I don't think all is lost here. Yeah, you got the King of Cups here, and I felt that energy. You have help. You have sincerity here. This isn't you. It could be, but I feel this energy of another water sign here with you. Okay. So either this is a family member or this is a really good friend. They also could have water in the chart, but how they come apart is how they come forward here for you is how can I assist you? I'm here with love. I'm here with sincerity. I'm here to listen. Okay. So this individual is here to comfort you regarding a specific loss this week. So you're not on your own. I think that this person here has a lot of compassion, has a lot of grace here for you. Yeah, and even though things aren't happening the way that you desire or want to this week, I also think it showcases how someone can step up for you. Now, this individual doesn't necessarily I feel like some of you, this person's at a long distance, so they may be showing up to help you in that kind of way. Or this individual is going the distance to make some time and effort here for you. It's like you stay where you're at, Cancer. I'm coming to you, or I will call you and make sure everything's okay. So this person is directing some actions towards you in a big way this week. It may feel a little bit uncomfortable. The bigger opportunity for you this week, listen, you don't have to go through this darkness alone. So things aren't falling in the favor that the way that you want it to this week, but it's also very protective energy here. This is also showcasing some of you that you are really overdoing it. You're in burnout mode. Maybe the fear here is lack. Maybe the fear here is not showing up. But something needs to shift. Something needs to change. And some of you, it's your health. Something needs to change here regarding a health change. But others of you, this is, a time here to look at the perception a little differently. Because if you're showing up here, it's a way here to reparent yourself, to take care of yourself. What are you gaining with this? So this is regarding your stability. This is regarding the long haul for you. The successes or the things that you want to complete this week were meant not to happen in the way that you want to. Do you see how the sun's on the chest? So in the long run, if you want to get to a particular goal or sustain something, you do have an individual here who's willing to help you, who's willing to assist you by listening, but also there has to be some changes on your half in order to realize that this is not something that you do quick. These changes here are to get you towards the path that you want to be. But the point that Spirit's trying to make with you, Cancer, is to enjoy the ride as well and be very present. And this individual is saying, hey, you need to slow down a bit. You need to ground yourself a bit. That's why you got to this point. Final advice here from you, from Spirit, and then we'll get to the anti-messages here for you. Two of Swords. You're in a timeout. You're in a timeout. There's some changes here that you have been ignoring. And I do feel like this is a spiritual spanking, but here's the reason why. Look at that. You got the Three of Wands here too. Because the ships are coming in for you. Now, are they the ships that you anticipate and expect? No, it's in a different form. But also, this slowing down your pace is not supposed to be an overdrive for you. This is for you to build a strong foundation so that when the time does come to take a leap or when things start moving a lot quicker, you're ready to handle it. And if this is a money loss of some sort that this Cancer is going through, there's just something about your habits changing to realize what's really important for you in this life, your well-being or, saving in a different way or just learning to invest wisely. You may need some assistance. You may need some help. You may need some mentoring from another individual here. And let me tell you, this person here who is stepping forward, they're very smart when it comes to money. If that is, something you're looking for advice on, is a financial aspect with this individual. All right. Your final message here, which is the anti-channel message. And this is this. Auntie says here for you, this is your season, Cancer. Instead of focusing on who isn't showing up, focus on who is. Ooh, I told you your expectations on who shows up is going to be probably hit with this. So Auntie is saying the right people don't make you question your value. They remind you of it. Your affirmation this week, Cancer, is I honor my needs and I trust my worth. All right. That's what I got here for you, Cancer. If this resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below. Don't forget, there's always more messages on the other side at Harmonia Friends Vault at my website. But also, if you would like to just become a member on YouTube, you can get premieres of some of that content as well. Not all of it, but some of it, just to get an idea of it. We're going to move on to Leo. Leo is up next. All right, my lions and lionesses. Leo, let's see how your week is going to be. Here we go. Leo. Well, your head is down. You seem very busy, very enthralled in whatever you, want to put your time and effort into. Some of you, this is work. Some of you, this is doing something at home. This could be a passion project. Some of you, you're building a relationship. It's going to be different for each individual Leo out here. External reason why you are so focused. The Knight of Cups here, reverse. Well, don't overdo it. You don't have to prove yourself. Externally, right now, you are feeling, ooh, there needs to be a heart-to-heart here. There needs to be a conversation. And this could, your breakthrough here is to have a heart-to-heart. But I feel like there's someone here that you're trying to prove your worth to and value to. And it's like, well, if I do more, if I show up more, they'll be able to showcase me some love. But someone here is holding back. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This person's very intuitive, but I also feel the two of you have very different languages when it comes to appreciation and gratitude. Like it's a different love language. Doesn't matter if this is romantic or not. But there's this energy here of saying, well, if I do more, then maybe I'll get the attention of this individual. But I don't think this person here is really focused on this. They're focused on other things. Could even be themselves. They're not really turning towards you right now. So I feel like with your backs turned away, this individual is deeply in their cup, but I feel like they're more in the self-love. They're doing things that appreciate for them and not necessarily seeing this. Interesting. Response to this week? Well, your response is something's got to change. I don't feel as connected. Where's the love? Where's the compassion? And I feel that you were hoping this individual would come to you, but this person isn't coming to you. They're just so focused on this cup right now. I don't necessarily mean this person here is cheating on you if this is love. The justice energy here is that something needs to change. There needs to be conversation. I don't feel like a conversation has been even started. But if it keeps going this way, it is going to end. Scorpio energy. It's almost like you'll be so busy you won't even create any more time or spot. What's the greatest opportunity here for you this week, realizing this? 5 of Wands. Confronting this. The two of you need to confront this, all right? Now, this may be an uncomfortable conversation here because you may have a particular way of doing something where you're more practical and this person can kind of get emotional, and they may even be an individual here who avoids the emotionally uncomfortable confrontation of this. All right. Now, there is something here where the two of you get very competitive with one another, fearing the worst case scenario rather than, hey, let's sit down. Let's talk about this. Why are we getting other people involved? right? This is something here where I think it needs to be the two of you. The greater gain here is pride. Pride's in the way on both sides. Leo energy. I do feel like Leo, I feel like you're going to put your pride to the side and contact this individual. But you also realize you're putting a lot more time and effort on things that are going really unnoticed by an individual. So I feel this confrontation of needing to not necessarily blame an individual, but explain why you feel like you have to be on overdrive. Like, hey, I'm getting like, I feel like I have to prove myself in order to get your attention, but it's not working, kind of thing. I think that you need to be as transparent as you can be with this individual, Leo, but let's see. What advice does Spirit have for you? Yeah, this idea that this person's going to figure it out on their own. No, they're not. Sometimes the truth is going to, end up hurting. But I feel like with the Five of Swords here, it's like someone rushes off because they don't agree or they don't feel heard or they're not listened to. So that's their way of pulling back and drawing into that cup. But the thing is, it also puts you in this placement of the Two of Swords, which puts you in the crossroads. And so this is something here where it's like, instead of leaving camp, let's work this out as two adults and see what the issue is. Let's just let it out. Because inevitably this has to change. Or somebody's going to be very shocked when someone just disappears, because that's what's happening right now. So there's just this energy of trying to prove yourself where that needs to stop. It does, because you're going to end up burning yourself out. Leo, your final message here from Auntie is this: you don't need to be on all the time. Not every moment requires a performance. Give yourself permission to recharge without explaining yourself. And I feel that's what you tend to do in this connection here, is to say, well, this is how much I'm doing, where really it needs to have the breakthrough here is just to be transparent on how you feel. Your affirmation this week is, my value is not tied to my productivity. And that goes perfectly here with this reading. All right. That's what I got here for you, Leo. If that resonated, go ahead, hit like, comment below. Don't forget you can hype on the replays. And also, that if you want more messages, check out Harmonia Friends Community. There's two ways to join. You can join over my website where you get the entire vault, or you can become a member here on YouTube to just get a preview and access premiere of some of the content on there. We're going to move on to Virgo. Virgo is next. Virgo. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. How is your week going to be? Oh, well, the worst is over. Dang. Ten of Swords. I mean, I can't sugarcoat the Ten of Swords. This hurt. Whatever was, and this wasn't in your back. This wasn't a betrayal in the true sense. Yes, you may have been betrayed, but it's also like this was right in front of your face. This is like, oh, external reason. What happened here? Oh, Hierophant. You did this to yourself. You did. It's almost like I feel like you looked in the mirror and went, I'm the problem. It's me. It has to do with a really deep belief system within you. We have Taurus energy here. That's a very spiritual card of guidance, counseling, learning. But ooh, the King of Cups here. Reversed. I almost feel like you put yourself in a predicament where you were trying to fix a situation. Now, here's the thing. You do also have around you a person who could be very emotionally manipulative. This could be a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This person does play victim. This person knows how to, well, pull at the heartstrings as well, but can also make you feel angry. But there's always this energy here of not wanting to be like this individual. There's something about Virgos like, I so don't want to be like this individual. But at the same time, there's something that's connecting this week where you went, shit, I'm really not that far off from this individual. Yeah. It's almost like the things that you can't, that really trigger you about this individual, you realize you may do very similar things, but maybe not in an intense way. And this week, it's about people pleasing and trying to do it all as well. Okay. Maybe you're trying to fix scenarios or other people. Someone here is not very, happy with still playing victim to it, not really getting it. And then you play victim to the idea that, you're always trying to help this person and they don't get it. And then you realize you're this person. You're like doing the same things, but in a very different way. Could be dealing with an Aquarius here, but this is not something you're going to forget. This is just something where you're going to look at and go, shit. I feel that if I don't fix this scenario, then it's going to make me feel less than, because I don't feel safe and the insecurities are coming out, that if they were behaving a specific way, then I would feel better. Look at that, 9 of Cups. So is this person really selfish? And now you're looking at you. Am I selfish? And it's a 9, so you have that parenting kind of number here. 9's a very significant number for you this week. So I think that you're realizing this has to end. I am all about self-love, but I also realize some people have to do what they got to do for their own self-love journey. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the same way I'm doing things. Okay. There's a greater opportunity here, fulfillment. And it's like, listen, they have to do their own things and they have to learn their own lessons. And I have to do the same thing. And I can still love a little person, but I can still be peaceful about it as well. Greater gain here for you. Look at this. There's actually a big opportunity here for you, because I feel like this is going to open a whole different doorway for how you build relationships, because you can see an individual detached from it, but at the same time see the appreciation and gratitude for individuals here where you may dismiss because they're trying to help you out. And you're like, no, you don't get me. When you realize, well, I'm doing the same thing to another person as well. So there's a really big lesson in this week, but I also think it's a big opportunity to expand and appreciate the relationships that do evolve with you over time. And sometimes you just, slip away with other relationships because they aren't on the same page as you, and that's okay. But I don't see you trying to fix the scenario. It's almost like going, I know that I have to stop doing that. Everything has to be in a perfect compartment here for Virgo. Yeah. This is about moving with grace, taking a different approach, saying, okay, that needs to end. Ow, that hurt. Yeah, that person may have mistreated me, used me, however that may be. But now I have a completely different evaluation and the knowledge of how I can treat others, including myself in an area. I have to take accountability that I was choosing to help an individual, knowing that they weren't going to give back to me the way that I wanted it to be, which happens to be the Tower. That's that thing that just, it breaks out fundamentally the foundation that was faulty to begin with. And so that's going to be the big shift for you this week, Virgo. Auntie says for you, Virgo, you're allowed to stop managing things that were never your responsibility in the first place, including this person. Okay. This week is about simplifying, not fixing. Your affirmation this week: I release what is not mine to carry. And I see you releasing it. And some of you, it is a vacation coming up here, doing something here for you. It's like, I'm breathing. I'm taking a moment here for myself. All right. That's what I got here for you, Virgo. If that resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below. Don't forget, there's always more messages over at Harmonia Friends Community, the entire vault of readings, or if you just want a preview, you can join over the YouTube membership. We're going to move on to Libra next. Libra, my scales. Let's see where you are at this week. How you feeling going into this week? Here we go. We have the High Priestess here, reverse. Well, I feel a little bit like brain fog. Something's not making sense to you. Something feels off to you. All right. Something feels off to you. Externally, let's see what's going on here. Judgment. Well, judgment is usually like, all right, next level. What's happening next? Let's see the integration of this before I go. It's almost like you're in the middle of a chapter and it ends and you're going, that's it? No, there's got to be more. Sleeper's like, there's got to be more. Look, the 10 of swords reverse. That's like you feel cheated out this week. So, Libra, there's something about you're not going to read up about this. You're not going to find this online. You're not going to. This is something here where I feel the universe is saying, put the book down, turn the TV off, get back outside. Okay. There's nothing here in this news that you're looking for that's going to be good for you anyway. You can't control anything in this outcome. You can't. But you're trying to gain information. Maybe it's about what's ahead for you, but your response here is you're a little bit irritable, annoyed. King of Swords, that's your energy. Let's just get to the truth. I want the facts. I want to know what this is about. 9 of Swords, because of fear. There's closure here, but at the same time, it's not. It's the way this book, it's the way this chapter ended. It's like, that's the ending. You know what it's showcasing me, which was like the crappiest ending in all TV history was The Sopranos, how it just kind of went dark and you're like, wait, that's it? Like there was no like closure really. And that's what it feels like for this Libra. I feel like you're in the episode of the finale of Sopranos and it just goes dark and you're like, I put so much into this season and that's what I got this week. There's got to be more than that. I spent so much time evaluating this, sensing this, this is supposed to be prophetic. I'm supposed to be in tuned with the universe. And it didn't pan out that way, or it's not panning out this way here for you this week. But what's a greater opportunity? 7 of Wands here, reversed. There's so much defense energy here of needing to protect yourself. Maybe there's some kind of news that you're waiting for the worst case scenario and it hasn't happened the way that you want it to. And the universe may be pushing you just to live, to experience, to stop trying to watch other scenarios, other people. Your breakthroughs are relationships. It's about connections, putting yourself back out there. If you've been in a hermit mode for a while, it feels like it. Look, the universe is saying, we're working behind the scenes here, but you have to take a chance here too. You got to be so defensive here about the ending that you receive. There is something better. There's a better show on for you. Okay. Is it happening this week? No. But there's a chance here to put your defenses down and go, I trust the universe. I trust God. I believe in miracles, because the miracles happen every single day. They just do. Milliseconds. We just maybe not aware of them the way that they are. But I really do feel like the focus needs to be more on you and the miracles that happen throughout your day versus like all of this outside noise looking for results. Advice here for you, Libra. Yeah, you're in the dark. There's fear. Yes, totally get it. But I also feel this energy that a pack is very important to you, Pisces energy. And, this has to do with connections and relationships. And sometimes the relationships that we're in, are very opposite than we anticipate in life. but those opposites attract us for a reason, so that we can process things or go down certain paths so that we can have those experiences. And there's something here about the opposites that have really, you've always really been drawn to. And this is something I'm now realizing, well, I got to find my pack. Yeah. Some people are there for a season, other times people are there for the long haul. But I feel like for you right now, I feel like the universe is pushing you to be around individuals who see you face to face or eye to eye, who are there to listen and appreciate you, and not necessarily the outside of people who are in and out of your life. And that's where the clarity you're going to find in right now is in that security. Libra, your final message here from Auntie is this: people often look to you for balance, but in this Cancer season, it's asking you to check your own scales here first. What have you been giving away that you need to keep for yourself? Your affirmation: I honor my needs as much as I honor others. And I do feel there's something in the past where you're looking something to see if something is, I don't know, karmic justice. It almost feels like you're looking for that. All right. That's what I got here for you, Libra. If that resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below. Don't forget, there's always more messages over at Harmonia Friends Community, where you'll get an entire vault of readings. It's an ever-growing vault. Or you can check out the premier access of YouTube membership, which is, well, a couple of things that will come out from the vaults. All right. So let's move on to Scorpio. Scorpio's next. Scorpio, sun, moon, rising, and Venus. Reversals are now up. How are you feeling, Scorpio, going into this week? Oh, you're really fighting with the universe. You certainly are. You're not necessarily trusting the next steps. External reason why? Oh, so this has to do with not just one person, but a group of individuals here. This could be work related, but this also could have a family dynamic or friendship dynamic as well. Wow. Not everyone's going to agree with the way that you want to do something, but there's somebody here within this circle. I don't know if there could be an age difference between the two of you. I do believe that this person here comes off as very hypocritical, immature, has a way of getting everybody to do it their way when they don't really have the experience. This really annoys you. And there's a part of you that is like trying to conjure this individual to leave, disappear, kind of thing. I'm not saying you're doing black magic, but you're definitely trying to envision this individual just not there in the vicinity. And the problem is, ooh, you have a person in the middle. That's where I felt it. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This could be a boss. This could be a mother. Okay. Like this sibling rivalry. Who likes to try both ways. You know, I was like, oh, we'll give them a shot. I think the problem is that you feel that you're always giving this individual a shot, and this is frustrating you because you're always trying to make amends, you're appeasing something, and something tells me that you know that this isn't, you need to create some boundaries here, but in a healthy way, versus trying to just appease one individual. Now, some of you, this is hard because it's a boss, and it's like, oh my gosh, they keep partnering with me with this person, and we're not getting anything done. In fact, I'm doing all of the work, or we're wasting time, and they're getting more money than me. Dang, there it is, Tower. Okay, inevitably something has to change. And I really feel, because it's reverse, it's usually saying this is not a direct hit to you. It's everything around you that's breaking apart. But I feel like this individual is consistently giving somebody shot after shot after shot out of their pocket. And that's hard. Now, some of you, this is because you have a mixed family, and this could be this could be like a stepson, stepdaughter, and watching co-parenting going on here, and it's like you just have completely different ways of raising children. But I just feel for you this week, the greater opportunity here is to have this heart-to-heart conversation and have that confrontation. Now, this has happened a lot with all these readings, is to have that emotional transparency in open communication, but also inevitably something's going to end. And I think there's a part of you that doesn't want to be the bad guy or bad gal, but the opportunity is either this can fall now or it's going to take a while and it's going to still fall with the same results. Yeah. And you already know that you've dodged around another individual because you care about this person. You dodged something much larger. And some of you, like, this actually affects like where the two of you are going further down the road, especially if this is a romantic relationship, because it's always going to be about the other person trying to make up for it. And that's hard. Now, others of you, this is work related. This is you being put in a spot where another individual is consistently getting the same credit when they didn't do the work like you did. And that can kind of suck. But at the same time, you know that because of your loyalty and your love and, you know, the actions of how this person has been very caring, nurturing, giving you a shot, kind of, you feel like you're betraying that individual. So, but in the long run, you are also betraying yourself because you haven't taken opportunities where you have solid growth and appreciation. Advice here for you. There's an ending is supposed to be, this is your card. Okay. You're fighting an ending where you know that you've had enough. So now you have to take accountability. Spirit is saying you've already set your limits. And there's some guilt and there's some shame here with a bridge, but the bridge doesn't have to be burnt. You may have to expire this and go somewhere else, but you know, there's a lot of fear here that once this bridge is crossed, you two will never be able to see eye to eye in that sense. And you may never, but also at what price are you willing to keep putting yourself lower and lower and start building resentment or bitterness for not getting to where you actually want to be or desire? All right. So that's where that manipulation comes with that magician reverse. All right, Scorpio, your final message here from Auntie is this. You don't need all the answers before taking the next step. Trust what you've already learned. You're further along than you think. Your affirmation is, I trust the wisdom I've earned. And there's just something that's already played a part that you don't need to keep trying over and over again for an individual's sake. All right. That's what I have for you, Scorpio. If that resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below. Don't forget, there's always more messages over at Harmonia Friends Vault at my website. Or if you'd like to become a member at Harmonia on YouTube, you most certainly can to get preview access to some of the content over there in the vaults. We're going to move on to Sagittarius next. All righty. Let's see what's going on here for Sagittarius. Sagittarius, how's your week going to be going? Here we go. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Well, it's a slow and steady race for you this week. You're staying in your lane. You're being very practical. That's a nice thing. Maybe could be working on some long-term projects externally. Let's see what's going on. Why do I feel like you're on your way out to go? Oh boy, who is this? I felt it. I felt it. You're dealing with a very manipulative individual here, Sagittarius. Could be dealing with an Aries. This person can be a little unruly. They get in your way a lot when you are trying to get your things done. So I feel that you're going to have, unfortunately, a run-in with an individual. But man, you're very patient with this person. You know, I think there's an individual here who has the particular way of how they want to do things, how they want to run things, they run the show. All right. This individual here could be a boss, could be a leader, could just be a very manipulative individual based upon insecurities. But here's the thing. On the long run, you have been able to get your stuff done and deal with this person at ease. And this week, I do feel like this person here is going to surprise you. Now, that's interesting because I'm just noticing here that there's four pictures here and then five, six. So this is an individual here that you've kind of learned to handle or to deal with when they get unruly. I knew the 4 cups was here. I knew it. But the disappointment comes with the fact that this individual can never be on the same page as you. And so I feel for you, there's a part of you that wishes that this individual would give more compassion, understanding about other people, but it's like I think that you're dealing with an individual here who tends to outweigh and outshine because it becomes too emotionally disturbing for them to handle anything. So it's almost like you have to deal with a person here who's in very lack mentality, doesn't know how to handle things, and so it has a kind of a codependent because they got used to you always coming in and well picking up the pieces. And this week, there's something just about the disappointment that this individual is not seeing the greater aspect of what you do. Yeah. And also, you might be missing out on something this week where it's not really a big deal to get done. I think it's a big deal to them because they just want to knock something off their plate. But, all of these small, I feel like you have an individual who consistently says to you, Sagittarius, can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Well, yeah, you've done a lot of favors for this individual, but also you still have your own things to do. And so there's a part of you, it's like, I wish that they could see that every time they ask me for a little favor, it throws me off. I get disappointed, but at the same time, there is an opportunity here for you to say no. Okay. Like what is focusing your energy? So this is opening up for you. I think there's some disappointment here because you don't want to upset an individual. I don't think this is somebody here. No, you're creating better boundaries. It's slowly but surely. But the 3 of Wands here is saying, hey, you got to figure this out on your own. But also when I need a favor, can you be there for me? Can you see in my side of the story? And I think you have an individual here who has done very little to, not saying that you need to have it paid back, but to ask you how you are doing. Sagittarius, how are you doing right now? Seriously, I don't think you get asked that question enough. So I'm asking you that, and go ahead, comment in there. How are you doing? Because I feel there's this energy here of I'm handling a lot. I'm okay. I wish things would be a little bit better. I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to be reserved, but also, it would be nice to get some attention. And I do feel the Sagittarius is getting a lack of attention where they should be getting that care and love. Advice for you. Ace of Pentacles. This is a time here to get back to yourself. All right. Spirit is saying, do something for you this week. Here's the big handout. Do whatever you get. Don't share it with another individual. This is about something for you this week, Sagittarius, because the love and compassion and appreciation that comes from you has always been for others. And now Spirit is saying, pour this back into you this week. All right. Take an opportunity to carve some time for you. Let an individual be disappointed. Have that breakthrough conversation saying, I need this for myself. And watch how things start to shift and change for you. Your final message here, Sagittarius, from Auntie is this. Something is asking you to go deeper instead of wider. You don't need more options. You need a stronger commitment to what already matters. And I want to say it's you. Your affirmation is, I focus my energy on what truly aligns with me. All right. That's what I got here for you, Sagittarius. If this resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below. Don't forget, there's always more messages on the other side of Harmonia Friends community. Or if you like Premier Access and some goodies, you can also become a member at YouTube. Let's see what's going on here for Capricorn. Capricorn is up next. All right, Capricorn, let's see how your week's going. Capricorn. Ooh, strength reversed. Well, I feel a little bit hung up to dry. I feel very annoyed. Stubborn, man. You are persistent, though, because you're trying to get something done where you really don't feel like it's not possible. So I feel like very stubborn. What's external reason for this Capricorn here? Man, are you just burnt out? I feel that this Capricorn here is just going through some massive burnout, trying to push themselves forward regarding anything at this point, not happy at all. Listen, thank God. There's a break. There's a break. You know, in the beginning of the week, it ain't going to feel that pretty. It's going to feel pretty darn heavy. But whatever you are putting your mind and your energy and time to, it's going to be worth it, because once this is cleared out, you're going to be able to breathe in a way that is going to allow you to be more present and be there, especially if this has to do with a connection. Because I feel like, especially if this is for a Capricorn who's working so much and doesn't have a lot of family time, I feel that even though it may be a strenuous week, you're going to be like, thank God that's done. That's over with, because now I have some time off, or I have a break here to just be able to look into something. Now, others of you, if there is somebody here who's pissing you off and it's just no sight of like ever making this individual happy, this is you just going, I'm done. I'm done trying to appease and please everybody. It's just not for me. Yeah. Because by the end of the week, I feel like the opportunity you're going to do is something that you desire. Now, here's the thing. Some of you have felt like you've waited too long to take this break, or it's not long enough for some of you, where it's like, I need to make some changes in my life. You know, obviously, if I'm dying to have a weekend, then, I'm not happy during my weekday. And so something needs to shift. So it's definitely giving you, Capricorn, this week a different perception of how to view this. But some of you, you're an extremely hard worker, but it's like it's not lining up with what you truly want to do. Yeah. It's almost like you feel like you're stuck at a dead end job, or because there's a contract. This is also could be a relationship where it's like, this is as good as it's going to get. But with it reverse, it's saying, here's the opportunity here to whatever you're getting a break of, whether it's a break from an individual or finally taking a break from work where you have some time off, like to be with family and friends. There needs to be some transparency here about what truly makes you happy. Greater gain here for you. Yeah, it's time to take charge of this. Aries energy with this Emperor. This just tells me some of you are meant to be your own boss. Like, that's what the issue is that you already can manage your own time. You're very responsible individual, but yet you hide under another situation that you just have been going, if I could just do it my own way. Well, the greater gain here is that you do have the ability to do so. Some of you, it's, doesn't necessarily mean you have to quit your day job, but some of you could be starting a side business where eventually it will take over. But you have to put some time and effort towards that. So I do feel this realization or this epiphany moment here for you is that as you go through this, that you've had enough. Like, it's like you want to wipe your hands of this. It's like, I don't feel like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I got to make a change. Yeah. Wherever you put your time and investment now moving forward, it's not going to happen overnight, but you got to break some ground here. So there are going to be some changes for this Capricorn in a good way, because I feel like this is going to allow you to be able to have more of that free time. And the other thing is that the 7 of Wands energy of this defensiveness is kind of like you feel like it's too good to be true. Like, oh no, it's not possible for me to have that. But there's a part of you that says, well, what if? What if it is possible? I won't know unless I put some effort toward it. And some of that effort is learning a new skill. Some of that effort is like I said, creating more time here with your family. But you'll be able to see what works for you, Capricorn. Your final message here for this week is this. Auntie says, you spent enough time proving what you're capable of. This week is about allowing yourself to experience the life you're building instead of constantly working on it. And that's what I see. I feel like this immense amount of like, I got to keep working on it when you're really not working on what you truly want and desire. Your affirmation here this week, Capricorn, is this. I make space for both success and connection. I like that because it kind of melds both worlds here, right? Where you want to have deep connections, but also success here if you are an entrepreneur of some sort. All right. That's what I got here for you, Capricorn. If this resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below. Don't forget, there's always more messages on the other side, and we're going to move on to Aquarius. All right, let's see what's going on for Aquarius. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Spirit, what's going on here for Aquarius this week? 2 of Wands. So you're ready. It's not just having a new beginning. You have an opportunity in your hands, and you're on the move. You're facing your fear. That's what you're doing. You're facing your fear. Yeah, you are. You're facing it. You're facing your fear this week. Oh my gosh. It's interesting because fear always gets in the way to what we truly love and desire, right? Because we just don't know if we're going to fail, if there's going to be rejection. But externally here, your wish fulfillment is to be able to face this fear. And that's externally what you're wishing here is. And I like this because you're actually doing it. Yeah. You've come full circle this week. Okay. So this is a massive week here of not just closure, but you're ready to go the distance. Some of you are about to get on a plane, get on the boat, get on the train, wherever it is you're traveling, and you're ready to travel the distance. You don't know necessarily how you're going to get to what you desire, but that's the whole point, is you go on the fool's journey. Once you hit the world energy, you've learned through a lot of stuff. You got to gain a new perception. You got another card here of completion here with that Mother card. So you've been through it, but at the same time, you're going after your dreams this week. All right. We have Aquarius and Scorpio and Leo and Taurus energy. Yeah. Now, some of you, congratulations. I feel like some of you met somebody, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Okay. This could be an individual here who's at a distance from you. But if it's not necessarily romantic, it could also be about partnership, going the distance, 2 minds together. Yours is more of the analytical approach, where this individual is very creative. This person here is also very confident, faces fear as well. Your response here is to meet both ways. Interesting, like in the middle. Greater opportunity by meeting in the middle here. It's to adjust the cup. Yeah. 8 of Cups. So either someone got away from you, Aquarius, or there's this energy here of missing opportunities with individuals who you've been desiring either to partner up with, maybe put yourself back out there if this is romantic, maybe to collaborate with someone. But this is a week here where you're meeting somebody in the middle. And it is to discuss the breakthrough here is to discuss this. Okay. So if there has been no communication with the situation, it could be that coming together in the middle. Or if you have been fearful of meeting, connecting, collaborating with an individual, you've already put the feelers out. Now it's saying, hey, let's have a discussion about how we both feel and what your desires are and what my desires are. So you are definitely collaborating with another this week. Yeah, look at this. I knew there was your energy here with the Queen of Swords. We have, look, now interesting how they're facing different directions, but in the middle, and this is you. So when you have the water element combined here with the fire, it can kind of, and especially with the reverse, it could be an individual here whose pride gets in the way or can be overzealous and pushy. And then when the cup is kind of reversed here with the swords and the air energy, it can come off as really passive aggressive and personalized. And so the two of you are putting your minds and your actions together and it's to basically clear the air because we got justice here. So interesting enough, whatever this communication is with this individual, you're going to find that the two of you agree that you both disagree on certain elements, but also that there is love there or a desire to feel something out. Yeah, let's see, get to know somebody. Advice for you. Will be interesting conversation for sure with this individual. Yeah, feeling out your options. It doesn't mean you have to say, okay, I'm absolutely going to partner up with this individual. Okay, I'm going to start a business with this person. Okay, I'm going to marry this individual. No, you are weighing out your options this week. You're not allowing distance to be the gap. Now you're bridging the distance and saying, okay, let me feel it out. Let me feel it out and see what's here because I'm stable enough here to realize that if it doesn't work out, I'll be okay regardless. So, this is about your stability. This is also about you weighing out your options this week and just seeing. You won't know unless you try. That's really the message that I got here for you. All right. Auntie's message for you, Aquarius, is this: the future will still be there tomorrow. Focus on today's choices. Small actions repeated consistently will take you further than one dramatic leap. And here's your affirmation: my daily actions create lasting change. And so this is the consistency. Like, you don't have to make huge leaps. It's just, I feel this energy of practicing, um, you know, looking at other people's opinions and not taking it so personally and dealing with pushy people or bridging the gap of, misunderstandings. It's you bringing an equilibrium there. All right. That's what I got here for you, Aquarius. If that resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below. Don't forget, there's always more messages over at Harmonia Friends community where you can check out my website or become a member for preview access on YouTube. We're going to move on to Pisces. All righty, let's see what's going on for Pisces. How is Pisces feeling this week? A little tired. There's some uncertainty here. You're feeling very vulnerable, but also tired. Wired. External reason why. All right, so you've been going through a lot of deep emotions, Pisces, regarding your past. It hasn't been easy, but you are moving forward. But I think you're just tired of being ripped open, crying about it, sad about it, grieving about it. I feel emotionally exhausted by whatever the situation is, whether this was a breakup, whether it was things not going your way. It's about the past more than anything. Now, the Nine of Pentacles here reversed, there's something about codependency that you're clearing. Maybe you enabled situations where um you wanted a specific person to go on the boat with you and they didn't, because everyone vibes a little bit differently. But there's just something here about enabling. And now some of you, the biggest clear up for you is getting back on your feet again. And some of you are just so tired and unwilling to get help or assistance, when actually that's what you could use the most right now, is a warm hug, a good conversation, or just a deep friendship would be so good for this Pisces right now. Like, you just need a warm hug. Yeah, Four of Pentacles. Yeah, I just feel so exhausted about trying to get above water. Some of you trying to get ahead again because of money. Maybe you're in a tight financial situation here. Maybe you feel like you can't go out much. Maybe you feel like, gosh, how am I going to get over this on my own? There's this limitation this week that is coming up, but I also feel exhausted and over vulnerable from emotionally grieving something that you don't feel like you can achieve or see in sight right now. But the universe works behind the scenes a lot. So even though it may feel like it's going downhill, like I can't see anything, everything's falling to shit, I feel like it's actually the opposite. You just don't see it right now. What's a greater opportunity here this week? Yeah, Five of Swords here. Your ego can kind of get in the way with this, all right? It's not over yet. It's not over yet. It's not happening in the time frame you want it to happen, Pisces. But there's something here about your joy, your happiness. There's a desire here to win at all costs. And here's the thing. You're facing uncertainty. And so uncertainty is scary. Fear distorts your actions, making you act from feelings of powerlessness and limitation. Recognize when you are acting from fear and consciously choose love instead. And that's the really strong message for you. Choose love instead. I know that's hard for you, but the breakthrough that you have is a relationship. Someone here you can lean on, someone you can support, someone who appreciates you and is there for you. Yeah. The Hierophant, Taurus energy here, reverse. There's an old, you're holding on to an old contract or an old version of you that is really stuck on things happening a particular way. And because it didn't happen that way, they feel like they've lost it all. But no, what if you've gained it all? You don't know yet. You haven't allowed it to push through. It's fear coming up here because, you've had areas where you've had a lot of loss, some of you financial loss, but you are doing things differently now. I do see that. You're trying to be reserved. You're trying to be grounded. Some of you, you're trying to save better, but it's almost like no matter how much I save, I'll never get ahead. But it's watch your words, because you're just creating more of that. Here you go. 3 of Cups. Spirit is asking you to experience more joy in your life, right? Be happy with whatever you have. Find that notion of happiness. Even if it's like, I got a roof over my head, be happy about it right now. And here's why. Ooh, there's 4 Cups. You don't see this offer. And when this offer comes, don't be in the state here of missing it, because now you can't see all of the other options that's possible because of this, because then you get overwhelmed. It's here. It's just not in the precipice of exactly what you want right now. And I do feel the 3 of Cups here's energy is saying, hey, celebrate the wins, but also celebrate the losses, because now this new version of you is now going to be able to obtain something much larger. Your breakthrough is a connection that is aligned to you. Some of you, you're blocking the love of your life. Advice for you, Pisces. Auntie says, stop postponing joy until everything is finished. Life isn't a waiting room. Make room for something that lights you up this week. And that is a direct order from Auntie. Okay. I'm from affirmation here for you. I allow myself to experience joy in the present moment. I allow myself to experience joy in the present moment. Sending you some virtual hugs. All right. If that resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below. Don't forget, there's always more messages on the other side at Harmonia Friends Community. Or if you want premier access to just check it out and feel it out, become a YouTube member so that you can see some of the content there. It's not all the content, you can see some of it. Aries is up next. Aries, sun, moon, rising, and Venus. Let's see what's going on for Aries this week. Oh, yeah. Good fortune is coming your way. Interesting. External reason here. Ooh. You know what's so funny? I almost feel like you do have some good news coming your way. You're going to feel extremely lucky, but you're also holding another offer and you're like, uh-oh. Bad timing? But is it really an offer? You know, is it really luck? I feel like something makes you feel like, wow, this is so, like, it's almost like you win the lotto, right? You get this like invite. Externally, it looks great. And then you're like weighing out your option. You're like, something feels fishy about this. Something feels like a scam to me. So I do feel like you're getting scammed this week. You know, like somebody is making you feel like the luckiest person in the world. But what is up this person's sleeve? Five of Cups here reversed. So someone is making you the center of their world this week, or making you feel like $1,000,000, or that you won something to, it's a love bomb. You're getting a love bomb this week. It's something that you wanted and desired attention, appreciation for before, but also you have started to go on track and to stick to your own lane, doing your own thing. So however this is laying on thick, it's almost like, is this a distraction? Or you know what, I really feel, well, we're going to see in a second. Let's see what's a bigger opportunity here for Aries this week with this individual. Hierophant reverse. Don't say yes to this. I know it's going to be hard, but here's the thing. You are such a person by the book. You are an individual here that is so faithful and loyal, Taurus energy. But I feel with it reversed, let justice play out. Okay. Someone's here is trying to get back what they lost, which is your time, your attention, your motivation, all of that. Why? Because you're more driven here to see what else is out there. You're taking a chance here to face some fears without another individual. This week, this person is feeling that. And so they are trying to all of a sudden be the best version of the one that you remember them as. But what is the secret here? Manipulation. Could be dealing with a water sign here, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This person is going to lay it on thick this week. Lay it on thick. I'm sorry. You know, you were right. But it's not taking accountability in that sense, about the actions that they do. They may say that you're right. They may try to love bomb you, but I feel like it's a distraction. It's noise, because the bigger attention here is that they don't want to lose you, because now that they've lost you, some of you, they're using you, like literally using you, and some of you for your money. Be careful. Advice for you with dealing with this individual. Oh, did you see how that kind of fell off? Look at that. Protect what's yours. This is a distraction. This individual does not like that you're breaking the commitment, breaking free, doing your own thing, not accepting any more additional work or leverage. Yeah, you're going a different direction. 7 of Wands and 8 of Wands here. Your best bet here is to not even entertain this. It's almost like keep walking, walk right on by this. It's a complete distraction. This individual here is doing, they're using you. If this is work related, this is someone here who lays it on thick so you can do extra work, or, hey, stop by my office, I want to talk to you. And you're like, that's bullshit. Nope. Nope. I'm going to stick to the new job that I'm doing. I'm not going in that department. It creates additional work. This is leverage for you. All right. Go the distance here. The further you are away from, the better you are from this individual. But, your luck is about to change because someone's here seeing that, they're feeling the shift here for you. All right, Aries. So what does Auntie have to say? Auntie says, you don't have to respond. Ready for this? You don't have to respond to every challenge that shows up this week. Some things are distractions dressed up as opportunities. Protect your energy and be selective about where your attention goes this week, Aries. Your final affirmation is this: I invest my energy where it creates the greatest return. And the greatest return is away from this distraction. All right, that's what I got from you, Aries. If that resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below. Don't forget, there's always more messages over Harmonia Friends Community. Just check out my website. Or if you want to check out Premier Access, you can become a YouTube member. Taurus is up. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Let's see how Taurus's week is going. Taurus, you are leaving a situation behind. External reason why? Because it's time. You're choosing peace. You're walking towards peace. You're walking towards alignment. These are both cards of alignment. Sagittarius energy. I think at one point you were waiting for somebody. Some of you were waiting for a specific person. Maybe you're waiting for an apology, a connection, a reconciliation. But the integration of it this week here is you're resting your mind from this. You're ready to process the grief and take a break here from trying to make something happen that it's played its part now. And so this evaluation here is a really big deal for this Taurus, because this Taurus here has kind of pushed grief to the side and is like, I got to face this grief. Emotionally, this doesn't serve me. I need to be in a place that allows me to rest my mind, to have some peace, to have some recovery. Some of you're planning a vacation, taking a break. It's like you're doing something for you. I do feel like there's a lot of self-care here for this Taurus. I just feel like you're walking away from a scenario here that it's done. You're not feeling guilty about this. You're just doing this. Yeah, the grief. You're allowing the grief, and it's not reversed. So this is healthy. You're facing the grief. You're mourning it in a way that is healthy. It is temporary. It is expanding your heart space, but it's also allowing you space to finally move. Some of you have just been fearful of moving on, and it's like, I can't be fearful of moving on. There's got to be something better here. Greater opportunity for this Taurus. 7 of Wands. Better boundaries. Better boundaries. It's not saying that this is definitely a Taurus who was trying to defend themselves, trying to, like, hey, listen. I'm just choosing peace, but there might have been some guilt here for leaving somebody behind. But this Taurus is like, I can't feel guilty for choosing peace. I can't feel guilty for choosing alignment. If anything, I should defend that. Greater gain for this Taurus. What is the greater gain for this Taurus this week? Seven of Cups. More opportunities. But here's the thing. Now, because this greater gain here is you have proper boundaries, now you get to test those boundaries out with different options. This doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but I feel like there's other relationships that are better aligned for you, that give you fulfillment, because your breakthrough is the Two of Cups, 7, 8, 9 of Cups. So what you're moving towards is a much more aligned relationship that is going to be, it's really what you've been asking for, but you won't know unless you try. And so that's the greater gain here, is to be able to assess your options, but also have proper boundaries here. Trust your boundaries and just breathe into it. Advice for you, Taurus, for this week. You're moving on. Emotionally, yeah, there's going to be some tears. There's going to be some sadness, but it's time. You know, you don't know what's ahead, but that's the whole part of the journey. It may seem cloudy in the beginning, but eventually the clouds will break. Eventually you'll be able to see what those opportunities are, and you get to evaluate them. You get to pick them. Trust this part of you. Trust it. Don't make it overbearing. Don't make it to the point where you have your walls up so high you can't let anybody in. Trust that you can defend yourself regardless. Taurus, your message from Auntie is this. You've been carrying more than your share lately. Cancer season is reminding you that support isn't something you earn after you're exhausted. Let people show up for you before you hit your limit. Your affirmation, I allow support to reach me without guilt. And I feel like that's what you're going towards, is support, and looking at the options here of support, and who's more aligned to you. All right, that's what I have for you, Taurus. If that resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below. Don't forget, there's always more messages over at Harmonia Friends Community. My website will have all of that information. Or you can now become a join member on YouTube and get premier access of some of the content over there. We're going to move on to Gemini next. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. How is your week going here, Gemini? Ooh. Everything seems fair. Everything seems good. All right. Fair justice. Until this happens, what the hell? Who's changing the rules? I feel like you get something started and then all of a sudden someone here takes the plans and changes them all up and says, no, just kidding. No, we're going a completely different direction. You're on your own. You're like, but we had a plan. We had a plan. What the hell? Two of Cups here twice. I thought we were in this together. What do you mean you don't want to do that anymore? So there's an argument here with somebody here that you typically get along with, and they have a different plan. They're like, no, there's something different here. It's showing me the Four of Cups. So when I see the Four of Cups, the breakthrough is, here's the thing. This isn't somebody here that you would dismiss and be like, they're being unruly. This is someone here you love. This is someone here who's like, you work well together. Everything's going normal. And then they change the plans up. I have something else in store for you. Oh my gosh, look at this. The Ten of Pentacles. This is family. This is a close friend. This is someone in your unit, could be work related too, but it's just your response is, I did not plan on that. I wasn't prepared for that. And this individual says it's going to be better. So I think there's this energy of, I don't know. I just feel like you're in your head about it. Greater opportunity here. Yeah. See, automatically your head is going down. This is going to fail. This is going to be sucky. This isn't going to work out. They don't like my idea. It's not planned here. But here's the thing. Let this person lead. Let this person lead for a moment. So the plans get changed. This person here knows you well enough to spice something up. And I think it's a good change. I think it's just off, like you're not, this could be if this is family and there's children, you plan to do something here, all of a sudden it's a spontaneous date night. I am telling you, this individual, all right, is an out of a box thinker, but their desire, their passions, and their confidence is actually going to pay it 10 times forward for you. Yes, this person here does not typically take charge, but there's something about them this week that you're going to see a very sexy side up to them if this is romantic, because they will be doing something out of the norm. Why? Because they love you. It's simple as that. They want to bring some spice back to this. Others of you, if this is not romantic, it's just someone here who wants to do something fun. It's like, let's just be kids again. Let's just do something. I'm making the plans. We can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. Yes, I'm changing the plans, but also we need a more fun. We need to do something more spontaneous. I don't know. You're going somewhere. You're traveling. You're doing something fun. Simple as that. Some of you are like, no, I just had my birthday season. I get it. But there's another way to look at this. Yeah. Knight of Wands, be spontaneous. Go for it. Have fun. This person here is excited about it. Be just as excited. You're not going to have any control of what direction you're going. But here's the thing. A lot of you are facing this like, oh my God, this is going to be the worst thing in the world to do. Maybe it's to take a day off. Maybe it's to stop working so hard. You're afraid that you're going to lose money, or you're afraid you're going to lose some time, or won't be worth the effort down the road. But this is something here about facing the rock bottom that whatever it is taking away from something you typically do. But it's also letting you face that, hey, if you are add some, spunk to your week, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have any regrets, because maybe as you get older you might regret not doing some of this fun stuff. And I do feel like this person's got some spunk coming up here. All right, I just think you're going to be doing something fun. I do. I think there is either a weekend getaway or a date night. There's something that's special here for those of you if this is romance. All right, there's some one-on-one time with an individual here that you truly love. All right, that's what I got here for you. Let's see what the final message is for Gemini. Gemini, Auntie says, your brain always wants another answer, another possibility, another angle. This week, stop trying to think your way through everything. Some decisions need a moment of quiet before they need a plan. Your affirmation, I trust myself to know when to think and when to feel. All right, that's what I got for you, Gemini. If that resonated, go ahead and hit like, comment below. Don't forget, there's always more messages on the other side at Harmonia Friends Community, or you can become a member to get premier access on YouTube. Okay, so that's it for Zodiac readings. But because I know I typically have a goal going on and this isn't a live recording, I am going to do a collective bonus for you guys. So let's get ready to roll. All right, collective. So here we are with rolling the dice. We're doing the faded dice. This is typically a locked bonus. And I have a goal during my live show that you guys unlock. But because I am away and this is a recording, this is a gift to me. So we're just going to roll. We're going to roll together and see what signs come up. Obviously, the more placements that come up that are in your chart, this reading may be more for you, but it is just energy. So just take what resonates. Leave the rest. Don't force anything to fit. We're going to roll this a couple of times. I'm going to have to write this down. All right, here we go. We have Taurus. Taurus is here. And Pisces. Pisces is here. Who else do we have, Spirit? Virgo. Virgo is in the house. We have Aquarius. Aquarius is here. 2 more rolls. Libra. Libra is here. 1 more. And Gemini. Oh, we got all of the air signs. So those are the signs that we got. I'm going to give me a second. I'm going to put the banner out. All right. So now we have the banner up. We always go a little bit deeper here on the collective reading. So Taurus, Pisces, Virgo, Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini energy. Man, all of the air signs are here, and a lot of earth and a splash of water. All right, let's see how you're feeling going into this week. Collective. The moon. Well, facing fears for sure. All right, that's Pisces energy right off the bat. How you feel is scared. You're nervous. Okay, externally, why are you nervous? Sagittarius energy here. 2 major arcana. I feel like someone is up late at night going, when am I going to feel at peace? I'm always walking on eggshells. I feel very nervous. I feel very anxious, always afraid of what's ahead. And the desire here is to feel peace, but they don't feel peace because there's a lot of misalignments here. Yeah, there's a big gap missing from my collective. You've either gone through a breakup, you've lost a lot of money, or you've just been extremely burnt out. And I feel like now that you're in a new version of yourself, there's this gaping hole. Maybe you went through a massive purge here during a full moon experience. Now we do have the full moon coming up, but I feel like this was the last full moon that we had, the one that was actually in Sagittarius. Actually, the next full moon is going to be in, I believe, Capricorn. But there's this energy here. Something happened in that full moon, and whatever was purged left this big gaping hole where it's like, I feel anxious because I don't know how to navigate this space. And it is a real fear. Some of you, it's because you've had a loss, and this loss has become part of your routine. So they're showing me this with grief, meaning loss of a loved one, especially when it comes to pets or animals. And some of you, this is what it is, but it's not going to be for everybody. But when you love your little fur baby and their time comes and all of a sudden they're gone, and it's shocking to the system because you felt like you had more time and it was so short. It also takes you time to adjust because you're used to that animal being a part of your life and part of your routine. And all of a sudden it's noticeably different when you're, trying to skip over, like, a dog who may typically be over your feet, and all of a sudden they're gone. It's missing, right? So there's something here that feels like a part of you is missing. And I'm getting a little emotional about this. So I feel like my collective is fearing that this loss will never be filled again, and not necessarily by whatever's missing. It's just like, how can I get over this? It's so big. Yeah. And no matter how much you fought for this or tried to make things work, it just didn't go in your favor the way that you wanted it to. So it almost feels like this was such a loss that what is it worth in the end? King of Cups, so much compassion, so much love. Pisces energy is coming so strongly here. So there's some sadness, there's some grief. I also feel there's just this energy of missing out, missing connection, missing a loved one. Mm. But that hole, that gaping hole cannot be filled up by that anymore. So now you're taking accountability. You know, this is now in your legacy. This is now in your court. And, you know, you're realizing that how you spend your time and energy is so important. But you spend a lot of time and energy with focusing on the loss than really navigating this new feeling of, okay, this is just different. You know, this is a new opportunity for me to create space and do something different. Again, they're making me use my dog as an example when he passed away, because I still have not gotten a new dog since, and he's been gone for almost 3 or 4 years. But I remember in the mornings, I used to have to get up. I used to have to get up in the mornings, right? And I would have to get up so damn early and tiptoe. If I had to go to the bathroom, I had to tiptoe, because if he heard me, he'd be whining. Now, he did not come upstairs because he was a basset. He was low to the ground and he had a bad eye. So it was too much for him to come up and down the stairs. So as soon as he heard me, I had to go running downstairs. But I remember when he had passed away, the idea of sleeping in was like crazy to me, because I hadn't slept in for years with this dog. And all of a sudden I could sleep in, but my lifestyle changed. And then I had to like learn what to do with it, because I didn't want to sleep in all the time. Like, what am I doing with my time? So there's something here that you're adjusting in your schedule that is really allowing you to process this grief. And you'll get through it. Yeah. You're going the distance. The Eight of Wands here is going outside of, I feel like it's outside of the comfort zone here of fear, outside of the unknown. You know, there's also a quickness here, all of a sudden taking a swift, quick action. And what is this swift, quick action? Jeez, try to say that like 10 times. Greater gain here. Look, yeah. Ooh. Okay, instead of saying I have to be perfect every day and show up like I'm pretending that, you know, it's normal that I'm feeling this ginormous loss. No, I can navigate this and say, at least I'm trying. At least I'm putting myself out there and seeing what else is new. And so this is a greater gain here to put your ego to the side, not trying to walk away and being like, well, it just is what it is. It's closure. No, you didn't get closure on this. This is a different kind of feeling of what you're obtaining. Yeah, it's also allowing you some room here to get to know yourself an entirely different way. Now we have the fire element. And interesting enough, all the fire signs were missing from this collective: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But I feel like that's the time here. 8 here is 9 of Wands. I just feel that you have been afraid to open yourself up to new possibilities because of this loss and lack mindset. And this is now you going, you know what? This created space and room for me to do different things and show up differently. And who knows how that's going to be for me? You won't know unless you try, right? And that has been like the ongoing theme for every one of these readings. I feel like this week, you don't know unless you try. Advice here for you. This is the crossroads. Instead of thinking about it, instead of pondering about it, instead of saying, you know, I wish things could be better. Now it's not being in denial about it. Why? Well, because you know emotionally something is over. Something is over. Does it hurt? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you're right in the middle. 6 of Cups. This is a deep bond. This is a soul connection with another individual. They were part of your life for a reason, right? Or however this loss that you're feeling, it's sincerely, it hurts, but it's also allowing you a legacy to go towards your joy, which is the 3 of Cups. So you're right in the precipice here of changing something in a very, very dramatic way, but you're not going to be perfect at it. It's just, take each day as a new day, one step at a time. Collective. Auntie says, not everything, yeah, this is perfect for you. Not everything needs a deadline. Some things need room to breathe. And this Cancer season is asking you to stop forcing outcomes and start paying attention to what unfolds naturally. Oh my gosh, you ready for this? When you create space. Because you have a big dent of space here right now where it's like, I don't know how to fill it up. And it's like, stop filling it up. Just see what it feels to have that space. Your affirmation is this: I trust the timing of what is meant for me. I trust the timing of what is meant for me. All right, guys, that's what I have for the final readings here today. I hope you enjoyed all of them. Don't forget, there's always more messages on the other side. You guys take care.